Hello. Okay, good. We'd like to just do a small meditation. It's just a few minutes, like 4 or 5 minutes, and just to get your mind quiet down. So you could watch your breath, for example. Count your breaths. Try to go up to 10. Out breath is first half. Okay, that's different, right? Out breath is first half. In breath is second half. And then try to count silently to 10 without thinking about anything else. If you think of something else, go back to 1. If you can get to 3, I'll be surprised. Okay. Sometimes I go to 30 before I realize I'm supposed to do 10. Okay, so 10 good breaths, okay? It'll be like 2 or 3 minutes, then we'll start. Hello. We'll start. I'm just going to give a brief introduction and then we'll start the talk. Christy and I will do the talk together. So I think you may have heard, those of you who know me, I'm not talking to you tonight, mostly to new people. I grew up in a normal American way. I went to high school in Phoenix, Arizona. Then usual college. And then just by sort of an accident, I got into a Tibetan monastery. And then, no, really, like I had to actually look on a map to see where it was just before I left, you know, and where Tibet was, because I didn't know where it was. And then I spent 25 years studying with Tibetan lamas and finished the course that a lama would finish. And then, you know, came back to normal life and tried to apply it to normal life. And they taught me something precious. You see, they trained me in a certain way about how to see the world, right? How to affect the world. I like to, sometimes I show people that movie, The Matrix, right? We did a 3-year retreat nearby here in the desert in a hut. We didn't speak for 3 years. Christy and I did it together. And we didn't see anybody for 3 years, except for there were 4 or 5 other retreatants. So we missed a lot of stuff, you know, like we missed 9/11, like we didn't hear about it till 2 years later. Then, the Benson newspaper came and interviewed us because we're the only people in the world that didn't hear about it. No, it was very weird for us, you know. But what's really bad is we missed all the movies for 3 years. And so we had to make a conscious effort to catch up. So fortunately, the DVD technology had advanced by then. And we were able to see all the movies at home, like 3 a day. And I don't like the movies so much, but the only time I get popcorn out of her is if we're watching a movie. So it's just an excuse. And so we saw this movie, The Matrix, right? And it was so cool. There's this scene where, there's a scene earlier in the movie where he's doing spins through the bottom of the building, and they're shooting machine guns at him and her. And there's this, and then I saw later how they were on these ropes, and they were like being suspended so they could spin. And then these guys are shooting machine guns at them. And like, that's one approach to reality, you know? And tonight we're talking about relationships, right? So that's one approach to problems with your relationship. Just duck, you know? Just get better and better at ducking, you know? Like, as the marriage goes on, just be more skillful at ducking than you were before, you know? That's one way to get through a marriage, right? Or a relationship. But then later on in the movie, he figures out who he is. He figures out life. Like, I feel like that was my monastery years. Like, they were explaining to me how reality works. And it was the same thing as, what's his name, Keanu? Or what's his name in the movie? Keo? Neo. It's the same thing that Neo was going through. Like, he was slowly figuring out who he was and where he came from. And it's the same thing in the monastery. Like, slowly you find out. Then at the end of the movie, I don't know if you remember, he's in a hallway, he steps out, it's the wrong thing to do, there's 3 guys standing there with guns, and you're thinking in your mind, this time he can't get away. You know, this time, like, he doesn't have enough time to get back in the door. He's gonna get killed, you know. And you see the guys, you know, their fingers pull the trigger, and you're thinking, oh, poor Neo, he's gonna die, you know. And you're like, are they gonna bring him back next movie, or what's gonna happen, you know? And then the bullets are going towards him, and then I don't know if you remember the scene in the movie, but he like gets it. In that millisecond, he gets it. how things work. He gets it. And he goes like this. It's so cool. It's very karate. You know, he goes like, you know, he goes like this. And then the bullets just stop in midair, you know. And he's like, the force, you know. And he's like doing this magic thing, and then it's like the bullets pause, and then they all drop down on the ground. He's like, wow, I did it, you know. And then he looks up like this, you know. And I just always remember this part. So that's what they taught us in the monastery. That's what you learn in the monastery. And to be very honest, some people never get it. I think. Looks like. You know, looks like you could go through the whole course. You could even finish Geshe. You could finish 20, 25 years. And I think there's still possible that you wouldn't get it. You see, I don't know what it is. I don't know exactly how it works. But if you get it, then you can tweak reality. You can reach into reality and underneath reality. You see, it's like reaching through a curtain. And then it's like I always think the Wizard of Oz is behind the curtain. And he's got these levers and buttons, and he's pushing things. And you can learn. What they teach you in the monastery is how to reach under reality and make some adjustments. And then you don't have to duck anymore. You see, ducking is inelegant. You see? No, and it doesn't work so good. It doesn't work. No, because next time you may get hit, you know? No, like you maybe get hit, you maybe, you know. But adjusting reality always works. You see what I mean? It's a surefire thing. If you understand how things work, like the Matrix, you can reach under reality and make adjustments. So what we're proposing to do tonight is to, and I've used that for many things, okay? I had to raise money for Tibetan refugees. We had like 1,300 monks in my monastery. Many of them have tuberculosis. They don't get enough food. You know, they're hungry. And in the camps around there, there's thousands of 100,000 Tibetan refugees in India, poorest country in the world, right? And so we tried to make money for them. And I used this thing, you see, very consciously, very purposely. And we started a company. And now it makes $250 million a year. The annual sales are more than Southern Arizona or more than Arizona, I don't know, right? The income is like unbelievable. It's like you just make an adjustment like that. And I started at $7 an hour, right? So you just, it's a weird thing. You can reach in and make adjustments. I had a handicap. I was crippled in one foot. I had, you know, gout. And it's something where you get it from your parents. I got it from my father. And crystals go in your joints. Like diamond crystals grow in your joints. No, and then it hurts like hell. It just hurts like hell. They say it's one of the most painful things in the world. I don't know. But the first time I got a gout attack, I couldn't get out of bed. And there were days when I actually went to the bathroom in my bed because it hurt too much to get up, you know. And my foot was the bone was all bent, and then it just go like a golf ball. It got like a golf ball or like a lemon, like the bone changed. And then sometimes at work I had to just cripple around. I had to take my shoe off all day. I was walking around one shoe on, one shoe off, trying to hope nobody noticed, you know. Then I did the reality thing. No, the Lama said, do the reality thing on that. So you just reach in under the reality. You do some switches. You switch some switches, right? And you can do it. You see, that's what we're here tonight. We're here to talk about that. You can do it. You can just learn it and do it. And now, last couple of years, we do ballet together. I do on point on this foot, you know. The bone grew back normally now. It changed. The bone's straight. I don't think you could tell now. And you can do that. You can learn to do that, okay? And we're going to talk about, so tonight the talk is about, we thought we would split it into 3 parts, okay? Tonight is 1 part, tomorrow's night is 2nd part, Sunday is the 3rd part. The first part is how do you find your partner? Finding your partner. Like everyone would like to find Mr. or Mrs. Perfect, right? So how do you find them, right? Then guess what part 2 is? How do you keep them? No, I mean, that's the old story, right? It's one thing to find them. It's a different thing to keep them, right? Guess what the 3rd part is? How to get rid of them? No. He said that. third part's how to reach happiness with them. Like how reach happiness. Reach. So we call it finding, keeping, and reaching. Okay? Because it's one thing, you stay with somebody a long time, you'd like to be happy with them, right? So it's one thing to keep them, it's another thing to be happy, right? And the different levels of happiness, right? So reaching happiness. So those are the three themes, right? But I want you to just remember from the first moment, we're talking about a totally different approach than you ever heard before. So, I did this in Singapore. We had a talk at the YPO. It's the Young Presidents Association organization. You have to sell $8 million a year and be president of your company and be under 40 years old to get into this organization. So it's a very select group. And I gave this talk, and I even showed them the Matrix movie, the first couple of minutes of that. And then half of them fell asleep. And then the other half, they just freaked out. They're like, oh, now I'm going to change my whole business, So I think it's going to be the same for you, Now, like, if you fall asleep, please try to be quiet. But, no, you either get it or you don't get it. But if you get it, you can have the whole thing. You see? You can have your cake and eat it too. Okay. Everything will go unbelievable. Like, we hired them. Your wildest dreams. You see what I mean? So either you get it or you don't get it. If you don't get it, I have nothing to offer you. We have nothing to offer you. There's no advice. We're not telling you should do this or do that. Be nice to them, be mean to them, be tougher, be kinder, avoid them, don't avoid them. We're not talking about that at all. We're not talking about do this or do that. A or B, no, that's not it. Totally different way of viewing the world. You see? Totally different way of relating to the world. If you get it, you get it. If you don't get it, then you don't have to come back tomorrow. We didn't charge. And you just make adjustments in reality. So you can use it for your finances. You can use it for your health. You can use it for your relationships. And the idea of this whole thing is that you should have everything. Okay? You can have everything. You see? It's not wrong for a human being to want to have prosperity financially, right? That's not wrong. That's a good thing. It would help everyone. I mean, you could even help other people better. It's not wrong to want to be strong and healthy and attractive, right? That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. And if there's an honest, clean way to do it that's helpful to other people, why not? You see what I mean? And it's not wrong to want to have a partner who's like somebody you really like and to enjoy your life with them. So, I mean, these are like, what do they call? Thomas Jefferson. You have a right. No, you have a right to be financially well off. That's okay. That's not a problem. You have a right to be healthy. If there's a way to do it which is not only not hurt other people, but that would help other people, why not? You see? And you have a right to have a nice partner and live a happy life with them. You see? That's no problem. That you should have those things. You see what I mean? And if there's a nice, clean, honest, beautiful way to do it, by like making some switches, turning some switches that you'd never heard about, just something you didn't hear in high school or grade school. I always told her if I'd heard about this in high school, I would have been so happy, I wouldn't have had all those problems in high school, you see. Why not have your cake and eat it too? You see what I mean? You can have everything. By the way, the method that you use also brings you spiritual fulfillment. You see what I mean? That's just natural. Like, we have this weird idea in the West. Either you're spiritually fulfilled or you're financially well off. You see? Either you're spiritually fulfilled or you look good. You see? Either you're spiritually fulfilled or you have a relationship or a family. You see? There's this idea. I don't know who got that idea. But why not have it all? You see, I mean, why not be financially successful? Why not be healthy? Why not have a nice relationship? And why not be like spiritually perfect and fulfilled? Wouldn't it make sense that if you found the key to one of them, it might be the same key for the other ones? You see what I mean? So what we're proposing is there's one trick. There's one secret method that, frankly, I learned in the monastery for 20 years. And it took about 20 years. But I think I can do it shorter for you. Okay? Hoping. No, and I think you'll get it tonight. Then you need reinforcement. You need to hear it again. You need to get it again. You need to practice it. It's a practice. But once you get it, I think you'll hear it tonight, you'll get it. What I'm claiming is that it worked for me. You know, I did get that. I gave away all the money before 3-year retreat, by the way. That's why I'm still going around with holes in my shoes, okay? No, the whole company, the whole thing, we gave it to charity. All these foundations and all these people get fed, refugees and stuff like that. So you can't be thinking about your stocks and your investments in a 3-year retreat. The custom is before you go into a 3-year retreat, you give it all. Otherwise, you just will be distracted. You'll be wondering what the hell they're doing with my investments, you know? And no, that's very important to give it away at that point, okay? And I'm very happy in my personal life, really happy. I don't know anyone who's that happy, okay? And I'm really healthy, you know? I'm like over 50, we do ballet, you know, I rarely get sick, just everything. I eat like a horse. And no, strong, healthy. You can do everything, and spiritually fulfilled. So the idea is we're going to teach a key that I think you will find is very helpful, and it's not like anything you heard before. So you got to try to get the key, right? It's not like we're going to tell you yes, you should hit them, or no, you shouldn't hit them. It's not that easy. Okay? There's a key. There's a key. No. There's a certain key. So we're not going to talk about this or that. Get used to that. We're not talking about, oh, do this or react like this or react like that. That's not the question at all. Both of the choices are wrong. We're going to talk about the idea of 2 bad choices. Then there's a third idea that we call pung, say pung, sumba. Pung, sumba. It means there's a third choice. There's always a third choice, right? There's a wrong way number A to relate to your partner. There's a wrong way number B to relate to your partner. And then there's a pung sumba, which is this matrix thing. It's what Neo is doing. And that's all we want to communicate. So we're not going to tell you, oh, you should do that with your spouse or you should do that with your spouse. That's not the point. The point is, if you do either one and you don't understand reality, it won't work. If you do understand reality, it doesn't matter which one you do. Okay? It's very interesting. Okay? So just be open to a whole new idea tonight. Whole new idea about how you relate to your partner. Okay? I think it's your turn. Yeah? There you go. Oh, we have we call it our choreography, like what we do next. Who does the next stick? This is our disclaimer. We want to emphasize that we are a work in progress, okay? No, I read an article with Sting and his wife, Trudy Styler. I saw an article by them. And it was like, how come you're so happy? You know, how come it works so well? And they said, we work on it all day, every day. You know, it's not like we got to some point and it was perfect. It's not like that, you know. We work on it. And we are too, okay? So we're really, I mean, in my mind, it's really, really incredible and it's fantastic. But we just want to say openly and from the beginning, we have bad days. We have days when the matrix thing doesn't seem to be working very well. You know, like you reach out and the bullet hits you in the head. And, but on the whole, it's really cool. And I think, I mean, we have personal failings. We have days when we can't follow what we're going to teach, and we want to admit that and be honest about that. And those of you who spend a lot of time with us, you see failings sometimes. But on the whole, it's extraordinary. Like much better than anything I've ever heard about. And so I just wanted to say, if you see us on a bad day, not to think we're crazy, okay? It works, and it's unbelievable. But we are not perfect, and we haven't finished the process yet. So, okay, here you go.
So, my job here next is to talk about why we want to be in a relationship in the first place. You know, what is that very human urge that makes us attracted to male and female? You know, what is that basic human urge that draws us into wanting a relationship in the first place. There are kind of two divisions to this. You know, there's sort of a lower version and a higher version of the answer to this. The first answer is we are innately giving beings, and we have this urge to give ourselves away to someone. We have this urge inside of us to not be as selfish as we normally are, and to find someone that we can really give to, that we could really offer ourselves to, that we could really love, right? That we could really open our heart to. We have this desire to open our hearts to at least one other person in this life. And that sort of goes along with this desire to get rid of this attachment that we have to ourselves. You know, this fixation that we have, always focused on me, me, me. What do I want? I wake up in the morning, it's like, what am I going to wear? What am I going to eat for breakfast? What do I want? You know, what kind of shampoo do I want to use for my shower? It's always constantly me, me, me. Everybody goes to their day, and most of their thoughts are centered on themselves. And it's an incredible relief when you start to focus on someone else. When you start to just turn your focus to another person and say, what do they want to eat for breakfast? You know, what do they want to do today with our hour break, which is all we usually get. And it's a relief in our own hearts not to be so self-centered, not to be so focused on our own selves. On a sort of higher level, there are Tibetan texts like the Abhidharma Kosha, for instance, ancient Buddhist texts that describe. I don't get to tell you what they tell you. Ancient Buddhist texts, yes. Hello. Okay. These ancient texts, they describe the energies that are inherent in a human body. There are male and female energies within each one of us. And there's usually a predominance of one or the other. And if you have a predominance of male energy, you're born as a male. And if you have a predominance of female energy, you're born as a female. And these energies run in different parts of our body. And we have this incredible urge to unite the two energies together, to become some sort of whole being. To first of all become balanced, to first of all get to this state of balance where the male and female energies are equal in us, and then to join them together. So we're attracted to the opposite sex because they have the predominance of the energy that we're lacking. You know, and we're attracted to them because we have this longing to be whole. We have this longing to find our wholeness, you know, in ourselves. And they teach us, if we interact with a person who has our opposite energy, they teach us about that energy, and they complete us in that sense. And that's why you can have such a beautiful relationship with another person, and you can feel that sense of completeness, and that's why all those sappy love poems are written about that subject, right? I found you, I'm complete now, you know, all that stuff. And these energies are running in these different channels of the body. There are two side channels of the body going down here, starting from here and going all the way down to the bottom of your spine. And one of them has the female energy and one of them has the male energy. And there are, in a sense, this these kind of energies are what produces all of the duality in our thoughts. Like what Geshe Michael said, should you hit them or should you not hit them? I can't believe you said that. Okay. And those kind of duality decisions of two bad choices, you know, they come from these two side channels, because our thoughts are riding on the winds inside these channels. And because the channels are separated like that, it makes us see things in either one or the other, you know? And there's a Pung Sumba, as Geshe said, there's a third choice. And this is when we get the winds to run in the central channel, which runs between these two side channels. When we join the energies of the male and female aspects of our being together, we become free of that duality, and we become a whole being, and we become perfect, really, a perfected being. And that's the goal of any kind of spiritual practice, is to become that kind of perfect being who no longer has to feel any kind of pain or suffering, no longer has to die. And so, this getting the wind into the middle channel, it doesn't happen too often in our lives. The only two times that it happens are when we experience an orgasm or when we die. Those are the two times when very tiny, teeny little piece of wind will enter the central channel for a moment. And so it's, you know, you picture that feeling of at the height of sexual climax or whatever, and that's just the wind entering your central channel for a brief instant. And so the Tibetans say that even the urge for sex is an urge to unite the male and female energies and get the winds into the central channel and become a perfect being. So this whole urge that humans have for sexual intercourse is not a low urge at all. It's an urge for a higher spiritual side of us, you know, and it's good to know that, right? It's good to know that what we're drawn to is something higher than just this base desire for immediate gratification, that it's actually an incredibly spiritual thing that we're seeking. You know, deep down in our hearts, we're really drawn to seeking that kind of perfection inside of ourselves.
We wanted to talk, I don't know where this was. Did this follow? We're going to be... What precedent? We wanted to talk a little bit about precedence, meaning who's used this thing before? And, you know, can you say that this thing works, you see? And what? It's the idea that we believe that, well, there are, how do you say? You've heard about chakras, right? They're like inner channels that go through your body. Inner, little tiny pipes. They're finer than blood veins that pass through your body. And every body has three main ones that go from here down your back to your groin, okay? And if you're healthy, then these are running. But yoga was invented for making these channels run smoothly, okay? And one of the channels, this one over here, is connected to being female. This one over here is connected to being male. And then in the middle is a middle channel that goes down the body. And if this one is stronger, you're born as a female. If this one is stronger, you're born as a man, okay, as a male. There comes a time when you want to adjust reality, when you want to make things happen, financially, or with your health, or with another person, if you can get energy to come out of the side, these two side ones, and come into the middle one, then you can adjust reality. You see? There's something about if you can get more energy into this middle one, this middle channel, then you're more able to adjust reality. So there's this deep, and when you adjust reality to its highest extent, right, you become able and willing to help all people. You see? So like somebody like Jesus, according to this system, had perfect energy running in the middle. You see? Like somebody like Jesus, who is able to serve many people, who is able to see into the future and design things to help many people. Jesus had a lot of energy running into this central channel. So when you get a lot of energy going into this channel, you become some kind of like a Dalai Lama. Like the Dalai Lama has incredible energy flowing through this channel. You see? And then these two channels are sort of selfish channels and like that. They also happen to be male and female. So there's this urge in a human being to become a better person, to become someone who is more helpful to other people, someone who can help more people. There's this incredible urge in a human being to do that, which means that you have to get energy out of the male and female. The male and female have to unite. They have to come together. You see what I mean? So the only time that happens, Christy was saying, in a normal human being, the only time that you and me have Dalai Lama energy running through this channel is 2 times in your life. One is at the climax of a sexual activity, okay? At the very climax, a small amount of energy will run through the middle, like perfectly, like that. The only time the energy runs in us, the way it runs through the Dalai Lama all day, is in the moment of sexual climax. For a moment, you see, just for a moment, energy goes into the center, And when you die, just in the moment of death, when the spirit is finally released from the body, this energy moves into the center, just very briefly, just for a few seconds, and then it's gone again. You see what I mean? And when you become a high spiritual being, those two energies are together all the time. Male and female energies are always united. Like in an angel, those energies are always united. So this is a very interesting thing. The proposal is this. The reason the whole world is interested in sex, right? I mean, look at the internet, you know? No, I mean, it'll pop up on your thing like 40 times. Enlarge something. You know, have a better time. Meet 40 willing guys in Tucson. You know, no, you're just trying to look for some scriptural reference and you'll get 40 pop-ups like this, you see? Why is it that we have this intense interest in this subject, you know? What is it? Are we just all corrupt? You see what I mean? No, is it like some dirty thing and we're all attracted to it? It's funny in America. When you live in another country for 20 years and you come back to America, it's like everybody's crazy, you know? You say, what's the movie? What kind of movies are on today? They're all about sex, you know? This one, this lady commits adultery, it's really nice. This one, this priest commits adultery, it's really nice. You know, this one, there's 2 ladies committing adultery, you know? And then we're intensely interested. That's why they rate movies, because they make a lot of movies like that. That we have this intense interest in it. And then we have this sort of, schizophrenia where, but if somebody actually does it, like President Clinton gets caught, right? Then it's like this very bad thing. So there's this kind of, if you came from another planet or another country and you come to America, it's very weird. Like if you come from Tibet or India and you come to America, plastered everywhere, pictures of girls. I used to sit with my Lama watching television. And he would say, I remember an advertisement came on the screen, and there was this little girl, like a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old, walking down the beach. And then there's a joke, you know, there's 4 little boys sitting there, and they all go like this, looking at her. And he turned to me and he said, this is how you train your children. You train them from the time they're kids. What? You train them to have this weird ideas about sex. Sex is like it's wrong and it's what you want. You see what I mean? And he's like, I don't understand your people, But then he would say, what you really want, you have this urge. You call it sexual urge, right? You call it this deep-seated, I must have this thing. And people will do anything. People will hurt anybody, right? To get it, right? What this is saying is that there's a deeper motivation behind it. There's a deeper urge behind it. It's not just some kind of physical urge to loosen something or something. It's not this urge. There's a much, much deeper thing going on. You are dying to unite these two energies. You are dying to open the central channel. You are dying to get what you get only at the moment of death, which is when they briefly unite. You see? So that's behind this urge for men to meet women or whatever your orientation is. It's okay. But this sexual urge has a deeper urge underneath it, which is the urge to be a perfect person. You see? A whole person. To unite your two energies, male and female. When that happens, you are capable of being a Dalai Lama. You see? When that happens, you have that ability. It comes to you. You see? So are we proposing that you have sex all day? No. We're just saying that the urge that you have, that in this country is so misunderstood and so repressed and everything, the urges that you have, if properly channeled, if properly used, you could become the kindest person. You could become the sweetest person. You could become a whole person. You see what I mean? The urge that you have is quite natural, and it has a deeper meaning and a deeper expression. So you could have a spiritual partner. You could have a partner where you unite those two energies in a much different way than just a physical way. You see what I mean? There would be a much different expression of that same urge, and that's a good thing, and that's a holy thing. So not to think of the relationship between a man and a woman as something common or normal or dirty, you see? It's something that can be a very high spiritual practice, you see? And you can reach your highest goals with a partner, okay? So, I'm supposed to be talking about, has anyone ever done this? We have examples in Buddhism of people who have followed this kind of a practice, okay? I don't know. Okay. One would be 1,000 years ago, and the Lama's name that was Naropa. Okay, say Naropa. Naropa was a famous monk, very great scholar. He was the head of the biggest monastery in India called Nalendra Monastery. He was a great man, great thinker. He was like the George Washington of his time, and Shakespeare, and Mahatma Gandhi, everything mixed into one. And throughout the course of his life, he went through his monk stage. Then he went through sort of a wandering stage where he was trying to find the truth. And then finally, he figured out that his relationship with his partner was the most important practice. So he had a partner. He was married at a young age to a lady named Niguma. And then when he was a monk, he left her. And then when he passed into his searching stage, and when he graduated from that, he went back to Niguma. And then they lived happily ever after, right? Why does every single movie have the lived happily ever after? See? Why does every movie have the guy gets the girl or the girl gets the guy? It's not just some dirty thing. It's not just some common thing. It's not like some physical thing. It's a deeper urge among people to find spiritual fulfillment, to find fulfillment of what they can be. That's why every movie ends with the girl getting the guy, mostly. Okay, 95% of the time, it's like that. So Naropa and Niguma followed the teachings that we're going to describe to find their partner, and then to keep their partner, and then to be happy with their partner. So these are 3 steps that they use these same methods. Okay. Another example, what was the other one there? The sixth Dalai Lama is very famous in Tibet. He's not very well known in the West yet. I think he will be known better later. But he also had a spiritual partner, and he followed this practice. And it's very famous in Tibet. He wrote many beautiful poems about his relationship, and they're very, very famous. They haven't really been translated a lot or taught a lot in the West yet. I think they will be. But he also followed this practice of reaching into reality, getting to a deeper level, and then having a perfect relationship with your partner. Okay? So those are some examples from our teachings, from our lineage. Okay? Christy La's going to do some more.
So, take a look at the cover of your book, your printout here. What do you think? Is this a male deity or a female deity? Can you tell? Well, that's the point. The point is that this deity has reached a state of wholeness. That you've seen a lot of, I'm sure, they've got them on calendars and everything now, so everybody's seen Tibetan art nowadays. It used to be very secret, nobody was allowed to see it, they would cover it with a cloth when someone would come in their room that wasn't, you know, that wasn't your practice. Now they've got it on calendars everywhere, and, you know, anyway. But the idea about all of these pictures of deities is that you reach a state of wholeness that comes when the winds enter the middle channel, and you become completely both male and female. You no longer have a sexual organ, actually. You are a completely whole being. And then they've got those other pictures, those other tankas of, you know, the male and female deities in a state of union, right? Those are also a depiction of what it is to become a whole being, you know, in a picture form. That's what it feels like, that sense of wholeness when you reach that state, when your winds have entered the central channel. It's a state of total bliss, immaculate bliss, and total love for other beings, because they go together. When you open all of you've heard of chakras, yeah? When the wind goes into the central channel, it opens all your chakras, and you feel this intense love for every single other creature you've ever seen and that you ever will encounter. It's just, so it's like, and that's the ultimate state of mental bliss, is that state of love. And that's where we're going to, that state of perfection. And actually this cover picture is a picture of Chenrezig, Avalokiteshvara. It's His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. It's what he is supposedly an incarnation of, is this being, this holy being who feels this intense love for every single creature in the universe, everyone he comes into contact with. And if you've ever been to a teaching of His Holiness, you feel it in the audience. He loves me. You know, it's like almost makes me cry when I'm in his presence, because I feel it so strongly. Oh my God, this person, he really loves me. And think of that power. You know, I'm just one of like thousands of people in the audience, and I can feel that. And you could be that kind of person to give that kind of love to other beings. You know, you could, every person you met, you could give that gift to if you made yourself whole. And this is part of this practice of finding your spiritual partner and learning together how to make yourself a whole being. What other example I was supposed to give? I don't remember. The last example we have is of Lord Buddha himself. Lord Buddha went through 3 phases in his life. First, he went through a phase of rejecting the old way. You know, he had a wife, family, he had a whole kingdom actually, and he turned it all down. He's like, this isn't working. You know, this is just dodging the bullets. I'm not fulfilling my destiny where I am now. So he rejected it. And he left and he went to wander and learn how to meditate and learn how to understand reality and learn how to love, you know. He went to learn how to really love. And then he went through his second stage where he was finding his destiny. We call it the first stage is the stage of a renunciate, you know, where he just makes his life really simple and he just focuses in on his own practice. And then the second stage is learning how to find your true destiny, learning how to open your heart and love others. And then his third stage was his stage as a tantrika. You know, we call him Vajradhara in that form. Lord Buddha as Vajradhara. And you see a lot of pictures of him as this, it's not on this cover, but there's a similar picture of Lord Buddha as a deity, you know, and he's doing this practice. He's doing this practice of engaging with a partner and working to become a whole being. Actually, he already was a whole being, but he was displaying it in order to teach us, right? That's what we say. Yeah. So, yeah, are we taking a break after this?
That's sort of the introduction spiel, okay? And then what we'd like to do is we'll start the actual, there are certain methods in the ancient scriptures, ancient books, ancient monastery knowledge. There are certain methods to finding a perfect partner, someone you can stay with the rest of your life, someone you can reach real happiness with, and how to stay with them. So what we thought we'd do is take a break now, and then when we come back, we'll start into the actual, there's actual things you can do by yourself at home, right? And it causes you to find this person. It's the trick to finding the person, okay? So we'll be doing that after the break. So there are refreshments outside. And also, if you don't get a chance to see us very often, those of you who do get a chance, give other people a chance tonight, okay? But if you don't get a chance to see Christy and myself, if you're new or you just want to say hi or you want to ask a personal question about your relationship, just feel free to come up during the break and we'll be hanging out here, okay? So we'll take a 10-15 minute break, okay? Thank you. Okay, we'll start again. Those of you who don't know me, they said, well, what was your business? You know, what business were you in? People ask me. I was in the diamond business. Why was I in the diamond business? I was meditating when I was in the monastery. I was sitting there one day and something special happened. And then I knew I had to work in the diamond business. And I didn't need money. I had an inheritance. And it wasn't big, but it was enough to stay in the monastery indefinitely. And but it said you have to work in diamonds. You must work with diamonds, you know. So, okay. It took me like several years, but then I went into the diamond business, right? And I went to all these little stores, jewelry stores. I remember one in New Jersey, okay? I like bought this shirt at the Goodwill and got these shoes at the Goodwill. And I went to the jewelry store to ask for a job. And I went to the counter and I said, I want to apply for a job. He says, would you have any experience in diamonds? No, nothing. Do you have any experience in jewelry? No, I don't even know a ring from a, you know. And then this lady came in with this little kid and he said, get over there, get out of the way. You stand over there. And I stood in the corner, you know, and this kid comes in with mom, you know, and they said, mom says, don't worry, this is not going to hurt a bit, you know. And then the little girl's like, are you sure? Yeah, don't worry, it's not going to hurt a bit, you know. And then they walk in, and the jeweler who kicked me out, he said, who told me to wait, you know, he says, they discuss something, like I can't hear what they're saying. Then he gets this big gun out, you know, and he puts it up to her ear like this. And she's looking at him, and she's looking at mom, you know, and then it goes, you know, And then she's like this, and then she looks at Mom and she goes, ah! And I'm looking at these people, and I'm like, do I want to do this for the rest of my life, And so I just but I was lucky. I found a guy, he's in the wholesale business, wholesale. So we did at the end, we were doing 30,000 diamonds a day. So you don't meet any moms. You see, you just supply diamonds to somebody who makes jewelry, who sells it to JCPenney's and stuff like that, you see. And, but there's this joke in the diamond business. It's called the 2 bad choices joke, okay? And this is an old, I was with all these diamond dealers, these old, Israeli diamond dealers, And we would sit there with microscopes and grade ABC and clarity and flawless and everything. And these guys, they go like this, and they pick up the diamond and they hold it like that. They go, don't buy it. They don't even look at it, They just hold it, And so I'm working with these guys, and they said, look, Mikhail, there's this old way with the Yahamim, this is diamond, right? And they call me, what do they call Juke? Do you know Juke? Juke in Yiddish means roach, like a bug. Like, hey, Juke. Hey, Juke, you want to hear about the 2 bad diamonds thing? Yeah, teach me about the 2 bad diamonds thing, Like, I'm the only goy in the whole business, okay? But anyway, so they're like, this is how you sell diamonds, okay? You pick a yellow diamond, and you pick a diamond with all these black spots in it. And when the lady comes in, you say, okay, I got these 2 diamonds. Now, you can either buy this one, which is bigger. It's just a little yellow, okay? And then she's like, ew, and then you say, or you could buy this one, which is smaller and whiter. It's just got these big black spots in it, you see? And then you put their mind on this choice. You stick the diamonds in their face, and they're like, they can't get out of the office, and you're like, which one do you want? Which one do you want? Decide fast. I don't have much time, And they're like, then the mind goes to this place. Oh my God, that one's a little yellow, but that one's got the black spots. But that one's bigger, but that one's smaller. Yeah, don't forget this one's cheaper and that one's more. Yeah, which one, And you get their mind. It doesn't even occur to them to what? To what? Say, I don't want a yellow one or black. You're just like, you get this it's called the 2 bad choices trick, If you showed them one by one, they wouldn't buy anything, you see? But you get them in this duality. You see, you get them in this thing. Oh God, which one am I going to take? Which one? And your whole life is about this. You see, somebody came up to me during the break. Oh, my husband, blah, blah. Should we do this or should we do that? You must realize that both choices are bad. You see, that's the trick. That's the problem. You see? Normal decisions about your life with another person. Normal decisions about your life in your relationship. Your mind is constantly presenting you with 2 bad choices. Okay? And you've got to break out of that. And we say it has a deeper basis. You got these 2 channels here that are split. Your body is split into 2 halves, left and right. Your brain is split into 2 halves. And it's constantly giving you this, do you want the yellow one? Or do you want the black spots, And you can't break out of that, you see. You can't. It's very hard to break out of it. And what this teaching is all about is you break out of the 2 bad choices. You see? You must break out. In the present moment, it's not right to do A or B to save your relationship. They're both wrong. They're both wrong. Why? Well, one simple way to see it is they're not predictable. You see what I mean? Should I... She seems to be interested in this other guy. So should I pretend to be indifferent or should I confront her? You see? Which is the right one to do? Should I play it cool or should I, confront her with this? That's 2 bad choices. Already you lost. You see? If there was a right choice, somebody would have figured out in 15,000 years of human history. You see? No. If there was a choice that always worked, somebody would have said, play it cool. It always works. Or somebody would have said, confront her. It always works. You see, don't you get it? After, how many years you've been on this planet? No, don't you get it? There's 2 bad. That's yellow diamond, black diamond choice. They're both wrong. Why? They don't work. They don't work, you see? Find me a third choice that works every time. And there is such a thing. And that's what we're going to present tonight. Where are we? We can do that. I don't know why this comes at this point, but anyway, we thought to tell you about all our bad relationships that we had. No, I mean, from one point of view, there's an urge in the human being to become complete. Spiritually, financially, physically, maritally, relationshipally, right? Now there's this urge, and that's a healthy urge, and it's good, and all those urges will be fulfilled, right? You can get everything. If you learn this reality trick, you completely transcend the yellow, black diamond thing. You go to a new level, all the diamonds are good. You see what I mean? It's a whole different approach. Why did we get interested in that particularly? I thought it would be good to just talk, you know, to be honest about it. And I'm going to give you my personal shtick. She's going to give you, I don't know how much she wants to give you. I don't mind to tell you frankly. I grew up in a normal family, you know, Arizona, normal 1950s, 60s marriage thing, my parents. But they fought, right? They were both alcoholics. They're both heavy smokers. Nice people, good people, normal people, right? Under the normal stresses of life. And then having 4 kids, you know, and financial and everything. Then they used to fight, you know, and sometimes badly, you know. I can remember. Like, we do meditations where we go back in our life and we review our life. We go back. And I've discovered like really bad events that I had like, how do you say? I had like blocked them. I didn't want to think about them, but they had terrible fights, like physical fights. Now I can remember, you know? And then they divorced. It was a very messy divorce. And so that was my early impression of relationships. You see, as a kid, I'm looking at them, you know, and they say, we love each other. Even to their death, they said they loved each other, you know? And I said, yeah, you love each other, but what are you doing, you know? Like, what you're doing to each other is very cruel. It was very violent, you know, and harmful. And I'm like, this is my first impressions of relationships. So already I'm like, you know, I don't know if I want to do this stuff, you know? And then I had the normal thing. I remember it started, I think, in 4th grade or 6th grade. And it was Paula Monday. And, and I got a note that went from her friend to my friend to me on the 2nd day of 7th grade. And it said, I like you. Do you want to go steady, you know? And, no, I remember. So we went out to the bleachers in the back of the playground, which is where you do this stuff. And I remember, and I had bought a small silver ring. And I said, I heard you wanted to go steady with me. She says, like, she's sitting 2 rows down. Yeah, I'm not kidding. This is true. And I heard you wanted to go steady with me. She said, yeah, I sent you that note. And I'm like, well, that's okay with me. And I like tossed her the ring, you know. And that was my first that's my first girlfriend, okay? And then, you know, we used to go to high school dances and try to dance closer than we're supposed to and stuff like that, you know? That was about the extent of it. And then one day I get a note from her friend to my friend to me. And it says, I decided to break up with you. You know, and the ring like falls on the floor during math class. And everybody's staring at me, and I'm like, just a ring, you know? And this is my first relationship. And it pretty much repeated itself over the years, you know? In different forms, right? Like, but it really bothered me, you know? Like, no, the whole thing with my parents, it really bothered me. You see, I mean, like, it really hurt me. And it really bothered me, you know? Like, they say they love each other, but they hate each other, you know? Like, probably they did love each other at some point. And probably part of them does love each other. And then they obviously also hate each other. And it really bothered me. And I thought, how could 2 people be so stupid, you know? And then I got into the Paula Monday myself, you see? And the same thing happened to me, you see? And then it kept doing it over and over again. There's this excitement, you know, this initial thrill, you know? oh, Paula Mundy's like, she's like the third best girl in the 7th grade, you know? She wants to go study with me, you know? And then, no, it goes like that. And then the second day is nice, third day is nice. Then a month later, there's one problem, right? And then 3 months later, there's 3 problems. And then by the time she gives you the ring back, you already hate her anyway. You see? No, not. You laugh because it's true, right? You laugh because you know it's true. Because you have this great capacity for love with somebody, and you have this irresistible attraction to each other, and then it always corrupts, you know? It always goes bad. Something always goes bad. Slowly, things start to happen, and then after a while, you just actively dislike each other. Someone that you felt so good about, then you actively dislike them. What's causing that? You see, I mean, people ask me, why did you become a monk? You know, so then I went into my monk stage, you know, this is impossible. This stuff doesn't work. Relationships are useless, you know, so I became a monk. You know, I just said, I went to a monastery. I said goodbye to all my ex-girlfriends. And no, I graduated, the day I graduated from college, I went to a monastery, you know, and I just stayed there for 20, 25 years, you see. Because that's like the rejection stage, you know, that's like, this cannot work. You know, I've done like 12 girlfriends, this cannot work. And then you just go, you say, I give up all that stuff, you know, and you just decide not to do it. Then in the monastery, they train you to do it right. You see, it's a very interesting thing. Lord Buddha, in his own life, went through 3 stages. Went through the same 3 stages, you see. Walked out on his wife and their daughter. Left one night, in the dead of the night. Left a child, a boy, and the wife. Didn't tell them, just walked out. You see? And then went through this searching stage, this development stage. And then came into the spiritual partnership stage. You see? And my life has been the same way. So that's just my personal shtick. That's where I've been. So now, with the new knowledge I have, I don't know, in the last 7, 8 years, we've been practicing as partners, you see? So that's my own shtick. The reason I'm interested in this stuff is from very negative experiences at the beginning, then rejecting it, and then finding a way to do a better job. Like maybe some kind of secret tool of doing it the right way. You see what I mean? So I propose there is such a thing. That's my shtick. You understand? Do you have any shtick? Nah. You know, okay. You have to do the next one anyway.
You're interested? Well, let's just say, I had the same experience with my parents. They were pretty much split up as soon as I was born. And they loved each other so much, and they fought so much. And I couldn't figure out why that 2 people who loved each other so much would terrorize each other so much. And, you know, then I tried my own self, my own relationships. And the very first one in high school, I just threw my whole heart into it, you know? I was just willing to give everything. And I thought, I'm just going to make it work, and I'm just going to try as hard as I can, and this is going to be the perfect relationship, because it was my first one, you know? It was, you know, that whole first love thing, and it didn't work, you know? It just, at the end, despite how hard I tried, and despite how much we both loved each other, and I still love him, you know, we're still like best friends. There's always this sense of dissatisfaction. You get bored. You start hanging around with the same person and you, I don't know, the magic wears off. You know, you remember your first kiss and it was like amazing. And then the second kiss is just like a little less amazing than the first kiss. And then it just goes downhill from there. And I couldn't figure out why it had to go downhill. So then by the time I got to the next relationship, I wasn't willing to give my all. Because I already had this sense that, oh, it's not going to work anyway. You know, so I was sort of holding myself back a little bit. And it just kind of progressed from there until I completely gave up. I said, this kind of stuff. I had another relationship in college, and it lasted for, I don't know, like 6 years or something. And it was a slower progression of gradually getting bored with each other, but still really liking each other as a person, but knowing that we couldn't, stay together. You know, it was very frustrating. How come I can like this person so much, and yet we can't stay together? I couldn't figure out what was going wrong, because I was a nice person and he was a nice person. And we seemed to really get along and be compatible, and yet what's the problem? You know? How can I make this work? And I couldn't figure it out. I just couldn't figure it out. And finally I said, it just can't work. That was my conclusion. If I can't make it work with this other person that I care about so much, then it's impossible. Because it should be working. You know? It should be working. So you reject the old way, you know? Mine wasn't as long as Geshe's. I didn't spend 25 years rejecting. Luckily. But there is a process where you have to reject what you're doing. You don't necessarily have to leave the relationship, but you have to come to this conclusion that what you're doing in the relationship is not working. And you have to reject that, you know? And sometimes it takes just completely walking away for a while and reevaluating things. Other times you can actually stay in the relationship, and if I started to learn this stuff that I learned later when I was in high school, maybe I would never have had to leave the first one, you know? I mean, it can work for you in your existing relationship, that's what I'm saying. And the process of rejection is not necessarily a rejection of the relationship itself, it's a rejection of certain old ways of going about it. People have these goals about their relationship. They've got these sort of motivations that trigger their wanting to have a relationship. And, you know, I like to call them worldly goals. You know, you've got the physical goal of being attracted to someone, and then you've got this emotional goal of needing some attention from a member of the opposite sex. And then you've got this urge to, you know, have a partner because everybody else does in your city. You know, you don't want to go to the movies by yourself. You want to be there with somebody else, you know, and there's all these, and if that's your only motivation, you know, your relationships won't work, because it's based on a motivation of serving yourself. Every kind of motivation normally that we have in a relationship is based on what the other person can give to me. You know, not what I can give to the other person, but what they give to me. What kind of emotional support does this person give to me? I like them because they show me a nice side of myself. You know, I like them because they treat me really nicely, and that makes me feel really good. I like them because they please me in a physical way. I like them because, you know, all these things that, like, you're thinking of this other person, and all you're thinking of is what you can get out of them, you know, and you call that love. No wonder it doesn't work. You know, I mean, all of our minds are centered on ourselves, and eventually that's going to erode the relationship. You know, and we're going to explain a little bit more about how that works and about what we can do to stop it, namely turning our focus onto the other person, you know? Practicing this art of actually really opening our hearts and really loving and really learning how to serve another person, really, you know? Like, like taking the person that you claim to love the most in the world and saying, how can I serve you? How can I make you happy? And trying really hard not to get into that trap of, I'm going to make you happy so that you'll make me happy, you know? Doing it completely free of that. You know, just doing it as like this sacred art of learning how to love someone. Am I skipping to some other part that sorry.
So this is, how much time we got? Ooh. Okay. We're going to tell you the secret to the whole thing, okay? Now, and I propose that you come back 3 nights, okay? That's enough. Then you can pretty much work on it. But I don't think 1 night is enough. So I don't, you know, it's not for financial reasons or whatever, you know? I mean, I don't think you can get it in 1 night. We're going to start it, but then it takes time to learn, okay? It just takes time. Like, you can't learn piano in 1 night. I wish you could, but... so here we go. This is the real point to it. I want to emphasize that it's different than having a relationship for physical reasons. It's different than having a relationship for emotional reasons. It's different than having a relationship for financial reasons. It's different from having a relationship for family, to have a family. You see what I mean? But you can have all those too. That's what I want to emphasize, okay? The motivation is higher. The doing it right requires another element than what I mentioned. What did I mention? Physical, emotional, financial, or to have children and a family, right? You can have all those. It's not a choice. It's not either have those or have this. You see what I mean? It's if you get the higher one, the other ones come automatically. You know? If you get one higher kind of relationship, you can have the other stuff too. You'll get it. And if you don't go to the higher level, you can't get the other ones. You see what I mean? So we propose that if you don't go to this 5th level, higher level, you won't get financial security with them, you won't have emotional stability, you won't have a nice family, you won't get a physical gratification. You see what I mean? None of those can happen without a higher thing going on. So, and once you get the higher thing, the other things just come automatically. Okay? So what's the higher thing? Then we don't have to talk about the other stuff. It's the pen thing. Where's the pen thing? Yeah. Everything depends on understanding this thing. Okay? If you're new, pay attention. If you're old, pay attention. Okay? If you're old, learn how to teach it. Seriously. Okay? So like, I listen to this stuff. They say in the monastery you have to hear it 7,000 times. You know? And I used to go to the beginning classes. After 20 years, I used to go to the 1st grade class. Why? I wanted to see how they teach it. You see? I was just observing, how do they teach that? You know? I already knew what they're going to say. Word for word, I knew what they were going to say. But I said, how does this guy teach it? How does this guy... Oh, he teaches it really interesting. Okay, so here we go. What is this thing? You say pen, right? Just automatically you say pen. Okay? It's very natural. You look at it, you saw me put the lid on it, you said it's a pen. Okay? No problem. Then if a dog comes in here, Alan has a new dog. Sasa. I met Sasa. We had a beautiful time. It's like a beautiful little half opso, half something else. But pretty and sweet, you know, and cuddles up to you and licks your finger because he thinks you're mom and stuff. Like really nice. I just think of Sasa. If Sasa comes in here and is wagging her little tail, you know, and if I wave this object to her, what does she do? No, she bites on it, right? Like she chews on it. So she's seeing this same black stick as something to chew on, a toy. And then we're all seeing it as a pen. Okay, so now in the monastery we go through some Socrates thing, Socratic method thing. Who's right? Me or Sata? Who's right? No, you can say both, right? To her it's something to chew on. To me, it's a pen. That's okay. Both right, right? But which one is it really? Which one is it really? Now, there was a guy in Gainesville, Florida, on the book tour last year. He was sitting right there. And he was foolish enough, the only guy in history, he said, it's really a pen. You know? And then everybody was like, you know. And then I didn't have the heart to, you know, anyway. Obviously, it's not really either one, right? It's not really. You see, that's very, what do you call it? What do you call it? Prejudiced, biased, right? What, you think humans are the only people around? You know, you think humans are the only ones that use anything? Of course it's, to Satsa, it's really something to chew on. Satsa's probably saying, why the hell don't you chew on it? You know, what are you doing with that thing, you know? It's really something to chew on, you see? So it's just, so why, how do you say it? Next question. Is it a pen from its own side then? You can't say it is. You can't say it's like announcing pen. You like? It's not saying, I'm a pen, I'm a pen. You know? No, it's not coming this way. Okay? It's very big in the monastery. They call it sortong. Say it sortong. It's not coming at me. Right? Pen is not out there coming at me. Prove it. Satsa. Don't be dumb. Don't be naive. Of course it's not coming at me. If it was coming at me, then Satsa would write a letter to her dog boyfriend. You know, no, you have a nice tail, something like that. You know, no, she doesn't do that. She looks at it. The first thing that happens is saliva. You see? She just sees it different. So therefore, this is big, this is important. Make $250 million. Fix your foot, you know. This is a big deal. Find the person of your dreams. Really, it's a big deal. You have to get this. It's not coming at you. So where's it coming from? It must be coming from you. It just must be. Okay? There's no really other serious choice. I mean, maybe some voodoo. Maybe there's a guy across the street doing voodoo and it looks like a pen. It's not like that. You know, either it's coming at you as a pen, or somehow you're making it into a pen. You see what I mean? Somehow something's coming from your head and making it a pen, okay? And I propose the second. I mean, I think we're pretty much agreed on that. Next question. If it's being a pen is coming from you, can you close your eyes and decide it's going to be something else? Like a big diamond that we can all split. You know? If it's coming from me, can I just make some choice? Can I just close my eyes and think, oh, I wish. And you click your golden emerald slippers, and it's a diamond, you know? It doesn't work like that. Obviously, it doesn't work like that. You did that your whole life. You wished for things. You didn't get them. Wishing doesn't make it happen. You know that. It's one of the big disappointments of growing up. You know, when you find out that you can't get what you wish for, right? So what's making you see it as a pen? And I'm just going to give you the answer. You're supposed to. You're supposed to do that. You want to do that? Christy, that's the second half.
So what's making all of us see this as a pen in this room, right? Does everybody see it as a pen? Are we all agreed? Is there anyone who sees it something else? Yes? You could use it for something else, but if you saw this on the floor, what would you say was on the floor? Would you call it a pen? Yeah. I mean, everybody when they saw it on the floor would say, "Oh, there's a pen on the floor." Like normally, right? So what makes us see this as a pen if pen is not coming from its side, but if pen is coming from us? There's something in our minds that's making us see this as a pen. It's forcing us to see it as a pen because we can't choose to see it something else, right? We can't just close our eyes and try to force ourselves to see it as a diamond stick, right? It's coming, it's what we call in Buddhism a projection. We are projecting our minds are projecting penness onto this cylindrical stick, projecting a perfect picture of a pen is coming from our minds onto the cylindrical stick. And it happens so quickly that we don't recognize that our mind's even doing it. It happens so quickly that we just say, oh, it's a pen. And we think it's a pen out here. We think it's coming from this side. Because our minds are so quick about it. What's in our minds that's forcing us to see pen? What kind of mechanism is in our heart that's causing these projections? Let's say these labels of pen onto this cylindrical object. This is what we call karma. This is what we call, well, karma is a very common term now, but it's not a very well understood term. You know, people say, oh, don't step on that bug, you'll get bad karma, you know? And they only think of it in terms of something negative, like they don't... Karma is result is responsible for everything that you experience in your world. Everything that you experience, that you see, that you hear, that you feel, everything that you see outside of you in this room right now, all the people, it's all a result of karmic seeds going off in your mind. So this pen, this idea that this cylindrical stick is a pen, is a result of a karmic seed going off in our mind. Now, how do these karmic seeds get planted? Our mind is like a video camera, and it records the things that we do and say and think. And it stores them in little seeds in our heart. And then they ripen and grow, and then they produce our world later. They get stored there. They germinate for a while, just like normal seeds, just like any seed that you plant in the ground. And then they grow, and they produce our world. So everything that we're experiencing now comes from an action that we've done in the past. Deeds that we've done to others in the past. Basically, whether we've been good to others or whether we've been bad to others. Every single good event in our lives happens because we've been kind to another person. Every single bad event that happens in our lives, it happens because we've been unkind to another person. So all of these, you can see how this affects the relationship. You have a fight with someone, for instance, or actually, this is supposed to be how to get them, right? This day, yeah? What, the fight thing? No. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, you're struggling to find somebody in a relationship, because this is like the how to get them day, right? You know? So say you don't have a partner. I know some of you already do have a partner because you've come up to me during the break. But those of you who don't, you're sort of struggling. Should I wait around for someone, Mr. Right or Mrs. Right, to come to me? Or should I be active and go to all the cultural centers and try and find them and, like, you know, stand next to people I think are cute and wait for them to talk to me, you know? I mean, which one should I do? Right? See, this is the diamond question. This is the duality. Because really, it doesn't matter which one you pick. It has to do with whether or not you have planted the right seeds in your heart in the past by doing certain things towards other people. So it doesn't matter what you do in the present moment. In the present moment, you could either, if you had the seeds in your mind to find the perfect person tomorrow, for instance, you could bury yourself under your pillows in your house and somehow they would somehow still find you, you know? I mean, it's you know, it'd be like the mailman starts knocking on the door, you know? I mean, something would happen to you and you would find that perfect person because you've created the seeds in your mind. And then if you didn't create the seeds in your mind, you could go to all the, I don't know, what do you go to? All the clubs and, you know, I don't know, Buddhist teachings that you want. And look around in the audience and either no one would be attractive to you or, you know, it just wouldn't work. No matter what you did, in the present moment, you can't force the reality because it's already out there. This is already being forced as a pen to you because it's already ripened. It's a karmic seed that's already ripened for you. It's in the present moment. You can't fix the present moment. You have to plant the seeds to see this as what you want. If you want to see this as a diamond stick, you have to figure out what kind of seeds do I have to plant in my heart in order to perceive this as a diamond stick later, in like a month from now. If you want the perfect guy or girl, you have to figure out what are the right seeds that I need to be planting in my heart to have them appear to me. You know, and fortunately for us, because this is a really impossible job to come up with ourselves. Like, okay, maybe I somewhat believe you about this seed thing, but God knows what kind of seeds I have to plant to get Mr. Right to show up at my doorstep, right? Luckily, all the Buddhist masters of old have written them down for us. You know, they figured out that you would want to know what kind of seeds would be the best seeds to plant for getting what you want. And that's what it's all about. Is we can have everything that we want, and we could get to a state of perfection as we're doing it. You know, we could have the perfect partner and at the same time be working to get to that place that His Holiness the Dalai Lama is, which is in the state of total mental bliss where every single person he sees, he's totally in love with. You know, I mean, imagine that. And along the way, you get every other thing you could possibly want also, you know. So are you going to talk about the perfect seed?
It's getting late, so I'll just go quickly, and then we'll keep going in the next 2 days. But just basically, this thing you have to think about a lot, okay? When you meet a person, whether or not they become a partner to you, you see? When you see a person that you're sort of interested in, right? Whether or not it happens with them is the same thing as this pen. You see? If you have certain seeds in your mind, it will click. You'll be happily ever after with them. If you have certain seeds in your mind. It's like the person who sees a pen, right? And then if you don't have the right seeds in your mind, it will never work with them, no matter what you do. Then you're like the dog. You see it as something to chew on. It's the same person. You see? It's the same person. If your friend has the seeds to have a perfect relationship with them, they will. If you don't have the seeds, you never will. You see what I mean? Jesus was walking into Jerusalem, and people started cheering him. And his disciples said, "You better cool it. You might get hurt by the authorities. You should tell people not to cheer, not to cry out Messiah to you." He said, if I got everyone to shut up, if I told everyone not to say it, the stones would cry out. The stones would cry out. The stones of the street would cry out. You see? I have the seeds. You see what I mean? If you have the seeds, the worst schmuck in the world could show up and turn out to be your Galahad. You see? If you have the seeds. If you don't have the seeds, you can do anything. It won't work. It can't work. You see what I mean? You must have the right seeds. So it's a question of gardening reality. Making $250 million, fixing your handicap of your foot, finding a perfect partner. It's all just gardening. Where? In your own mind. Just like gardening in a garden. You want tomatoes? Plant tomatoes. You want watermelons? Plant watermelons. You want grapes, do you plant thistles? No, get smart. You know, the result and the cause are always similar. Okay? The result and the cause are always similar. So now you tell me, what karma do you have to do to meet Mr. Right? Then we don't have to talk anymore. Then you can go home. It's worth it. Come up with something. What seed could you plant in your own consciousness, subconsciousness, in order to meet a perfect partner? It must be similar. You don't get grapes from, figs from thistles, whatever. Jesus said that. You don't get watermelons from corn seeds. Come on. What? Take care of other people's relationships. Honor other people's relationships. 100%. 1,000%. You know? Oh, he's married. Ah! God bless you, good luck, you know? I'm not even going to talk to you, you know? Not like that, but totally 100% honor other people's relationships. You know, you're in a relationship, I like you, I find you kind of cute, but you know you're in a relationship. God bless you, you have a nice relationship. I wish all the luck to you. And you can be their friend, but you never ever do the slightest thing to endanger their relationship. You see what I mean? You honor other people's... This is what all the prophets said anyway. It's just that they didn't explain the karma thing so clearly. You know, don't hurt other people's relationships. You want the perfect partner? Just honor other people's relationships. The karma of that is that you will find like the unbelievable partner. Just perfect, you see? And that's the only way to do it, you see? So now we'll give you a quiz, then you can go home. To meet the person you want. Wait, someone got to hold this. Should you go to a club or stay home? He's going like that. Okay, you don't like that question. Should you buy clothes which are revealing? Or buy more formal clothes? No, don't answer that. Should you wear your natural hair color? Or should you change your hair color? Should you do yoga and get all skinny? Or should you kind of be plump and nice? No, which one will get the guy? You see, it's that you got to get used to that. Just say no. You know, just say no. That's not the question. You got to, this is the whole thing. You get it, you don't have to come back tomorrow. You don't get it, you have to come back tomorrow. This is the whole thing. Don't let your mind go there. You know, everyone came up to me during the break. Should I do this or this with my husband? Should I do this or this with my wife? I said, wait, listen to the end of the lecture. It's the bad diamond question. You see, don't get stuck there. Don't get stuck there. Should I do this? Should I do that? Forget it. It doesn't work. It really doesn't work. It really doesn't work. You want to find someone perfect? Make sure other people get somebody perfect. The only way. There's no other way. Then you can look like a slob. You'll still get the perfect person. You know, you could not go to yoga. You could overeat. You could still get the perfect person of your dreams. Because it doesn't matter. Those things don't matter. Do you honor other people's relationships? If you can tell me 100% honest yes, even mentally, right? Even mentally. Not even when I go home. Do I even allow my own mind to think about swiping someone's spouse or something like that? If you can say that I've never had that thought, then you can go to what we call an act of truth. Okay? And that's the last thing we have tonight. Who's doing that? Okay. I am? You go to an act of truth. Okay? This is called an act of truth. Flip to the last page in your reading. And I'll be very, very frank. I'll tell you a big secret, okay? I wanted to find a partner. Like, I really wanted it to work, you know? I really wanted, all those years, thinking, I really want, you know? And the Lama said, okay, you have to do these retreats, you know? You do these special retreats. They're like 1 month long usually. You lock yourself up in a house. You don't see anybody. You buy groceries for 3 days. You always forget something. And you do these practices. You meditate. You do prayers. This is the guts. This prayer is the highest prayer. Okay, this is the prayer. Very famous prayer. Okay, you do an act of truth. Okay, I'll read it. I'll read you the Tibetan. Okay, Tsagyu Lama Choki Tugjedang, Juchen Sangte Nyonam Sabkedang, Nyangjo Daki Haksam Tabe Ti, Kachu Game Zumshe Nyotong Shok. This is the Tibetan. Very ancient, like very beautiful prayer. This is the ancient prayer. By the power of the kindness of all pure beings. If it's true that Jesus was kind, you know, if it's true that Moses was wise in telling people what? Respect other people's relationships. Duh. Okay? No, this has been around for a while. It's not a new thing. Okay? If it's true that these people are kind, that's the first part of the prayer. If it's true that what we said tonight is true, what? You make things what they are. How? By how you treat other people. If that's true, if that path is true, second act of truth. Third one, if it's true that I really want to help every living being. Give yourself some credit, okay? It's true. Everybody in this room, your fantasy is to save the world. Really. That's why every movie is either about finding the guy or the girl or saving the world. Right? Really. Like Frodo's not so handsome, right? But Frodo saves the world. No, we all want to save the world. That's why Elektra's cool. That's why Spidey is cool. You know. No, why? Because they save the world. So I'm not going to say it's deeper than your sex urge. I'm going to say your sex urge is the source of that urge is that you want to save the world. You see? It's very cool. The source of your urges, all of them, is that you want to help and serve other people. You want to give yourself up. You want to surrender yourself to help other people. That's why you want to have a relationship with another person. It's just the start of that, right? So, if you can, you already have that urge. You just have to get in touch with it, okay? You want to save the world. So do it. Decide. I'm going to do it. Okay? You can. We'll talk about it tomorrow or the next day. I don't know. I want to save the world. So here it is. If it's true that all those beings in the past were so kind and beautiful beings, Moses, Jesus, etc. If it's true that this stuff really works, you will find them if you honor other people's relationships. If it's true that I really would like to help everyone in the world, if those three are true, may I quickly see the face of the smiling lover from heaven, okay? May I quickly meet a true angel, you see, as a partner, okay? And it's what you really want. It's what you really want. It's what you really, really want, you see? And then I give you the prayer, okay? You have it. My Lama made me say it every single night. You know? The last thing before I went to bed. So do this prayer every night. And it works, okay? Okay? No, it's free, right? Like, to me it's a very precious thing. I don't give it lightly, okay? It's a prayer. So, if things are coming from your mind, right? Then prayers are very important seeds to plant. You see? Plant this seed in your mind. If you really want to meet a perfect partner, then plant this seed every night. Do this prayer. The third part is important. The third part is important, you know? I want to meet a partner. I want to have a partner. And we're not just going to have sex. We may have sex. We're not just going to have a financial relationship. We may get financially successful together. We're not just going to be emotionally dependent on each other. That's okay, we will be. We're not just going to have a family, a home, etc. But we're going to serve the world also. You see? The basis of our partnership is going to be that we want to serve other people. You see, I mean, make that prayer. If the prayer includes that part, you must work. It must work. Because all the other stuff comes from serving others. You see? So don't go looking for a relationship because you're going to get financial support or emotional support or children or all that. That will come if you really want to help other people, serve other people. So, I have this fantasy. Me and this angel will go around serving people all the time. You see what I mean? Pray for that. Every night, pray for that before you go to bed. That's the third part of this prayer. By the truth of that, if that is truly your wish, you will get a perfect partner. It will come. It must come. Because you're planting the seed for it. Okay? No, okay, that's all. Sorry to keep you late. We'll do more tomorrow. So please come. I'm sorry that we ran late, and I know it's a little warm and it's a little uncomfortable, but okay. Yeah. Good. We always do one last thing. You just, when I say go, okay, don't run out the door. Just close your eyes. And then we made a lot of good karma tonight. Everybody wants to find a perfect partner. We made a lot of good karma tonight. So what's the best way to keep it? Give it away. Okay? So in your heart, just imagine all the good karma that's in this room right now from talking about this holy thing. Just give it away. Send it out the window. Send it out the door. Give it to other people. The room should be empty by the time we get up. Okay? So do it for 1 minute, then we'll leave, okay?